Good afternoon and welcome to the third episode of Paton Podcast. Yes, I was supposed to send this last night, but if you follow me on social media, you will tell that I pretty much did nothing at work yesterday. I sat in an empty tent, and usually that's a good thing that I did nothing, but usually if I'm doing nothing, I'm still around guests or other employees that inspire me to think about different things. But last night that was not it, so I could not think of anything. Plus, my daughter wasn't feeling so well, so I was more preoccupied with that. She had a little stomach problem last night, but she's all good to go. Today, though, is going to be a quickie. I'm actually driving to work right now, and again, I really don't have much to talk about. But the only reason I am doing this is because I did make a commitment to do this consecutive days. So that's what we're doing right now. Today that was pretty decent because Chloe was feeling better. I was able to go outside with her a little bit. And also on social media, you might have seen that I cut down one of my old hockey sticks for her. And I talked about it in my first one. But so we got to play some hockey today. And then, if you've ever been to my house, you'll know that she has a little, Snoopy looking house in our backyard. So we played restaurant for a little bit. She gave me pine cones that were supposed to be pancakes, waffles, eggs, burgers, and steaks. So I guess you could say I had a pretty good lunch. Other than that, though, I've been thinking about how this podcast is benefiting me. And I think it makes me think more about my day at a little bit deeper level than I normally would. And it also makes me think about what I am doing and am going to do in the future. Because every podcast I listen to, obviously they're more famous people and they have more going on. So they have more content to talk about. Which, no, I'm not going to be traveling the world, but since I am going to Buffalo, I'm going to try to get my first guests on and have that be my two buddies. I'm not really sure what I would ask them about or what we would talk about, but that does not need to be decided today. But it really doesn't make me think more about traveling or anything like that or how to benefit the podcast. It makes me think about what I'm actually doing with myself during the day, and just doesn't feel like it's enough. So this is motivating me to go to the gym more, get out more, get hiking more, get Chloe out hiking more. She spends way too much time in front of the TV, so that's going to be adjusted. But it's also been a pretty tough couple weeks in general, so I don't know, it just feels like there needs to be a shake-up, and I think that's what it's going to be. I've already made pretty good strides with getting a new job that, is beneficial towards my preferred career path, which was a big step. But over the past couple weeks, I've met people where, in a good way, it makes me feel like that's not even enough. So it's really made me reconsider what I consider to be progress or a success. And I am a strong believer that God has us all on our own path. But it is starting to feel like there is something more you can always be doing. Whether working on yourself, just as a person, or professionally, or physically. It just feels like there's always something to improve on, which I haven't always seen it that way to this extent. So my goal is to keep beneficial people in my life, and to start maybe drifting away from the people that make me feel comfortable with where I am in life. Because I think that's been part of my problem, is seeing other people at the same stage in life that I am, either at the same age or older or younger, but it makes me feel comfortable with where I'm at, and that's just not acceptable. Which never this strongly have I really thought about how the type of people that you have around you truly impact you, whether positively or negatively. And it's made me look in the mirror and ask myself what type of person I am in people's lives. If I'm the one that makes them feel comfortable with where they're at or motivate them to do better. And since I'm a pretty honest person, I feel like I can admit that I am the type of person that makes you feel comfortable with being lazy, and that's just not okay within my own life or my family, like my daughter or friends in general. So it really makes me want to up my game, So that's a commitment that I'm making to myself more than anyone else. But the other thing that I have to reconsider is if that's, going back to school or getting a second job just to make more money, is how much time am I going to be able to spend with my daughter, which is the utmost important thing to me. And that's the thing that I've really held on to and used as almost as an excuse to not do more with myself. And I almost feel like I'm in between a rock and a hard place because, time almost has to be sacrificed to make her and I both more successful. But on the other hand, as you guys know, her mother and I aren't together. And so I always want her to feel like I'm there for her and that I'm going to be able to make all, of her school activities, either at sports or she's really into dance or art classes or doing camps over the summer, being able to make these things for her. And I would like to think most parents don't have to deal with that because necessarily they're older, they're adults, their lives are established. And that's one of the things that I gave up, is the opportunity to get established before having a child because of my choices when I was younger. So that's something I've been battling with the most recently. And yeah, hopefully not too many of these podcasts are going to get too serious. They should be, though. And that's one of the things I have to look at with myself is how serious do I take myself? And one of the people that I've met over these past couple weeks really made me ask myself that question, and ask the question of, if I don't take me serious, who will? And it's a very true statement that I'm sure shockingly I haven't thought of yet. But I think doing this has also made me think about that, because it's, making me commit to actually saying all my thoughts and emotions out loud, and having other people hear it too, which I'm sure some of you will actually hold me accountable all this stuff, which I couldn't be more thankful for. And I guess this is kind of a therapy session too, doing stuff like this, but it's a lot cheaper, that's for sure. And I don't know, some people who actually do go to, for my problems or thoughts, which isn't too many people, ask why I don't do it more often, and it's honestly because I feel like you have your own problems going on, and what makes my problems more important than your problems, where you should set yours aside and pay attention to mine. But that also comes along with how seriously do I take myself and how important do I see myself, which unfortunately isn't too serious or important, and that needs to change if I want other people to take me seriously. So maybe this is my way into transitioning into that, where I still don't want to take up your time, because you got a life. So maybe this is a way you can help me with my problems and your convenience. But again, that's not what I really want this to be. Is a therapy session. Not too often. I want it to be funny. I want to make you guys laugh. Maybe hopefully help you guys forget about your issues for, even just a few minutes. So, I'm almost at work now, so I'm going to end this one. Again, thank you for listening as always, and I am anxious for your feedback. Thank you again for listening, and have a great day.